it just fit for me, right? I not only did I stand out in the crowd, but it was so me. It's in my chart. It is who I am, and I love it. Even when I wear any other color, people are like, no, red's your color. Red's your color. Welcome to the Story of Spirit podcast, where practical spirituality meets real life. Hi, I'm your host, Sheetal Story. I'm a psychic medium, grief support counselor, professional astrologer, and a human design reader, and of course, a law of attraction master coach. With my unique blend of spiritual and practical tools, I am here to help you align with your soul-led purpose and ignite a life that sets your soul on fire. In this podcast, we are going to explore the principles of energy, astrology, spirituality, and psychology to help you heal your grief and create an aligned life and business from the inside out. Whether you are looking to deepen your intuition, understand your cosmic design, or transform your business, this podcast is for you. Join me each week for insightful discussions, practical tips, and inspiring stories that will guide you on your journey to living your very best life. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on Instagram at Sheetal Story or wherever you listen to this podcast. Let's dive in and start this transformative journey together. Welcome to the Story of Spirit podcast. Today's episode is fully inspired by spirit. I got the download as I was driving to a brunch. I do a CEO brunch once a quarter for women entrepreneurs who want to mastermind over brunch and get some psychic downloads as they're talking about business, challenges, hot seats, that kind of thing. If you don't know what a hot seat is you sort of share what's going well for you and what's not going well for you in your business. And then we all give feedback and possibilities and possibly some solutions. And then you have to go away and implement. So it's one of my most favorite things to do. I love business. I love spirit. I love, how those things combine because we are co-creating with the universe. But if you don't have a business, it's all right. Stay tuned because this today is about color. So it's universal. Universal. I often get, how come you wear red? Or why aren't you wearing red today? I was like, I will not be pigeonholed, people. I will wear whatever I want. But I love wearing red. As you can see, if you were watching this on YouTube, I do love wearing red because number one, it's my brand colors, but I chose my brand colors with such intention. And, color, there's psychology to color. So we're going to talk about these colors and, the evolution of you in this lifetime and how I'm going to invite you to wear more color in your wardrobe because color has a vibration. And that's not science, that's not wooey, that is science. That color has a vibration to it. It has an energy. There is, if you ever remember back in school where they did the light refraction through the prism and the white light goes through and all these different rainbow lights come out on the other side, not different rainbow, they're in the rainbow, right? The Roy G. Biv, if those of you don't know, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. That's how I memorized it. And that color of the rainbow, when it comes together as one, it refracts into white, right? Or it comes together in white, it refracts into the different colors. So when we think about color, each color has a wavelength. That is, again, that's science, not woo. So stay with me here, right? This is actually a very scientific episode. And so those colors of the rainbow have frequency, have energy to them. And we are energy in physicality. We have energy in our body that beats our heart, that's the synapse of our brain waves. So when you think about like red light therapy, for example, it's acting on your body in a way that only that frequency can react, can hit you, right? So when you see red in the world, there's a color, there's a psychology associated with it, and it is universal. Right. We see that with the Red Cross, right? When you look, red is the color of our blood. Like we all have red blood, so that is something that ties us together. Oh my God. I'm stumbling over my words today because I'm going through a Mercury transit. So hang in there. When we wear certain colors, we emit that energy out into the world, into the field. And you'll notice that people will react to you in different ways when you wear different colors. Before I went on my spiritual journey, My whole closet, y'all, was black, white, gray, and beige, right? And if you have black, white, gray, and beige as the majority of the colors in your closet, I see you. I see you. I was you. And when I realized the power of color, I changed my ways, y'all. I changed my ways. And I actually recently purged my closet and got rid of all of my beige. Sad. Beige is just sad. Goes with everything. But it's really, when you think about black, white, gray, and beige, they all have color meanings, which I'll talk about in a moment. But black is the absence of color, and white are all the colors combined. So when we think about black and wearing beige, you're just fading into the background. I notice a lot of my clients that didn't want to be seen and had low self esteem would often wear black, gray, and beige, and they just wanted to fit in. And that's why I think of them as sad colors. I mean, black goes with everything. Honestly, I'm wearing a black t-shirt right now. It is a Guns N' Roses t-shirt, let's be honest. And it is black pants go with the red shirt. So I do mix and match, right? And I do love the color white as well. And white, we often wear white in a lot of spiritual practices. It's interesting because colors, even around the world, in Hinduism, you wear white when someone dies. And widows are meant to wear white. It's the absence of color because your world is devoid of color and meaning. Such BS, y'all. As a woman, when I have aunties and stuff that are widowed and they wear color, y'all, because life still goes on without your man, and color is not determined by your marital status. So, just fighting the patriarchy a little bit with that one, but something to note as that's kind of part of the culture. And then red is a marriage color and a color of auspiciousness in Chinese culture, Asian culture, and also it's our wedding color in Hinduism. So red is a very vibrant, very auspicious color to have on. It's not why I picked it though. The reason I picked it is because in the chakra system, so if you don't know what the chakras are energy centers located in the body, as depicted in ancient Hindu texts, Sanskrit texts, and yogic texts. So it's very, very old. It's older than Catholicism. And these texts talked about energy in the body and how the energy of your soul intersects on the physical plane with the physical plane. So, how the energetic plane intersects with the physical plane are these energy bodies. And this energy body is your energy that emanates from you, right? It's your soul. So, and when you're dead, you don't have energy. There's no energy emanating from your body. If you're an inanimate object like plastic, there's no energy emanating from it. But there is energy from pets. Anything that's alive has energy moving through it. That makes sense. That's science, y'all. That's not wooey. I haven't even got wooey yet. This is all science. So there's a frequency to light, there's a frequency to color. Every living thing has frequency. So then you could understand that these frequencies of light can be seen if you are able to see the colors within the auric field. That's a bit of a leap from the energy piece, but there is actual photography out there called Kirlian photography that can see the energies in your auric field, right? So there's colors about you all the time. And I was born with the ability to see aura. I see energy. I've seen energy ever since I was a kid. I saw the world in beautiful colors surrounding people, and I can turn it on and off. So I'm not always seeing energy. I can live in the 3D world without being in that energy field. But as I look into for readings, let's say, or I'm meeting someone new, or someone's approaching me for an opportunity, I am definitely going to be looking deep into your soul to see what's happening, right? How do we jive? What's happening for you? What do you need to hear from me? What are some of the things you're going through that I can support you? So the colors in your auric field tell me about your personality, what you're going through, how you see the world. And of course, your auric field is always changing because you are always changing. So those colors shift in your field. And for example, if you were to win the lottery, you would have a very different aura color than if someone had just died, right? I mean, that makes sense. Your personality is shifting, your emotions are shifting, and the auric field shows that. So energy is frequency, color is frequency, and we know that colors have psychology. You can take up color psychology in design school, in makeup artistry, anything that uses colors, there is psychology to colors, universal. So, when we think then to red, why I chose red, it's because it represents the basic needs that every human needs. It's the basic layer of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's safety, security, groundedness, feeling like you're safe in that presence, right? Think of the Red Cross. So that color really called to me. Number one, it's my favorite color. I have a Venus in Leo, so that obviously predisposes me to be a little fiery. I have a lot of fire on my chart, to be honest. I also have a Sagittarius moon, so this fire in my chart, I've always loved red. It's one of my favorite colors. But then when I thought about what it represents the root chakra, the energy that spins at the base of your spine that gives you groundedness, rootedness. It connects you to the earth star. So it's connecting you to the ground. And it's that safety security piece that's tied to finances, tied to, your house, food on the table, like basic needs that you need. So I wanted to be that. I am that. I help people who are going through grief, who are going through hard times to find clarity and maybe lay down some certainty in places when there's not a lot of certainty. It's something I love to do. I lean into grief my whole life. It's I'm not scared of it, whereas a lot of people are. I'm very safe with your emotions. People feel safe in their emotions with me. Empath. I'm, welcome to the world of being an empath, right? So when we think about red, it is a standout color, but it also is a grounding color and it's a color of safety. When I started with psychic fairs, so my background is I came from sales and marketing. I have a background in supply chain, like a business deep, runs deep through my veins, as does spirit. So my background in sales, I used to do a lot of food shows, and I was a broker, meaning I represented a number of different companies. At one point, I think we were up to 56 different companies. I didn't get a commission. I actually got like a salary, but the company got commission based on these sales of all these different companies that we represented. And we represented these companies because they weren't big enough to have their own representation yet. So they would hire brokers, and there was a broker network across Canada, and I was one of them. I worked for one company of many. And so we would represent a lot of these different companies in food shows. And these food shows, kind of like a trade show, when you go to like the expo or you go to Comic Con or you go to any of these shows that are sort of like trade shows, you can go to all these different tables and get information. Food shows are the same. Each vendor has a table, and then they're doing samples and they're offering discounts and information, and it helps restaurants and people who serve food to come up with new ideas, how to serve things, how to cut costs, things like that. So that was my previous job, sales and marketing. So I represented at one show, we had 16 booths, and I would have to organize, and the team would help me, of course. I wasn't by myself, but I would be representing that's my customer. So I would have to put in the discounts, I'd have to have all the POS, I'd have to have all the tablecloths, the banners, all the things. And that job really prepared me for entrepreneurship. I was so, you don't realize when you're in it, you're like, I don't know if this is a job for me. I mean, I knew it was a job for me. I'm very organized. I loved it. I did very well. I was there for like 13 years. And afterwards, when I did my first psychic fair, I pull up with my little wagon, my Rubbermaid container, my banner, my tablecloth. I had red roses I had red tablecloth. I picked red on purpose because I'd been to psychic fairs before I came out of the closet as one, and everyone was purple everywhere. And purple represents the crown chakra, which is your connection to spirit. It's a very spiritual color. You'll notice the Pope wears purple because he's an emissary of God, as they say in Catholicism. Purple also was worn by the royalty, right? It's again that connection to the divine. So purple was everywhere. Everyone had purple tablecloths and purple this and purple that. And I was like, no, that is not mine. I have purple. I do have purple things. I do love wearing purple, but I felt more drawn to red. And so I had a red tablecloth. I even had red roses that had my card tied to each one. And every client that came through, every customer I read for, I gave them a rose and said, thank you. And of course, they'd be walking around the fair and being like, where'd you get the rose? And they're like, oh, that booth over there. And I was lined up. So it was really good marketing. See, I also love marketing. I love spirit and I love marketing. And so it just fit for me, right? I not only did I stand out in the crowd, but it was so me. It's in my chart. It is who I am, and I love it. Even when I wear any other color, people are like, no, red's your color. Red's your color. Recently I had a dear friend have a color session reading where they actually got to see what her colors were. And I was like, oh, we actually do have colors that look best on us. It's not just subjective and what I think. And I'd be so interested to get one of those for myself to see, like, would that show that it's red? I mean, it should if it's real, right? Because I love it. And it's the only color that I wear that I feel so vibrant and alive. And why I started wearing color is when I started to dive into my spirituality and started to heal that, not being seen piece. I realized, like, I'm a delicate flower, y'all. Like, and I know you are too, that like I'm a flower. I want to feel good. I want to look good. I want to feel like a flower because I feel like my colors from my auric field are so bright. I feel like I radiate, especially when I'm in like my mediumship or when I'm in service. I can feel it coming off of me. And so that color is something I started to put into my wardrobe, and I started to wear more color, and pops of yellow and purple and red. But one color I've never been drawn to, which is the wildest thing because I do love it as a color and it is beautiful, but it's green. Like, I just don't like it on me. I don't, I see myself in green. I've bought green things, but I just don't like wearing it. I had to wear green because I was at a show where there was it was a green environment theme, and so I had to wear green and never wore that shirt again. I recently was out with a girlfriend shopping and she's like, why don't you wear like green? I said, I love the jewel tones of green and purple and red. And, I'll buy it, but I'll never pick it because I'll pick the red over the green in my wardrobe. Like, I'm never drawn to wearing it. Will that change in time? Maybe, maybe. Green is about the heart. So if I see green in your wardrobe or green on you in your auric field, I know you're very heart centered. I know you love animals. I know you probably have a lot of friends and you're very social, but you actually have a very select group of inner friends. You love going outside in nature and you have a lot of nature. Almost like a nature spirit, right? There's a beautiful woman here who has a plant shop and she's got the greenest aura. She's so heart centered. She literally was born in the jungle and she's a plant spirit. She's a nature spirit through and through, incarnated in physical form. And she just radiates this beautiful green aura of heart and love and kindness and grace. And, you know, so if you're drawn to green, wear it. Wear the green, be of that. Because when you wear that color, you also amplify that chakra, that energy field, because that wavelength is emanating from you. And you start to notice that you affect the world in that way, right? When I started to wear yellow, I really noticed it. People are like, oh, you're so sunshiny. You're so positive. You're so upbeat. Yellow represents the solar plexus, which is about personal power. When I see yellow in your auric field, I see that someone that's very intellectual and knowledgeable, optimistic, who wants to see the bright side of life, which optimistic means. It is also someone who likes to add value in ways that are going to uplift and inspire you. I see it on teachers because it's about knowledge. So I've actually, true story, I left a class once because the teacher was not yellow. They didn't believe in what they were teaching. They were just teaching it for money. So I ended up leaving, which, I don't want to learn from somebody who doesn't actually believe in what they're teaching. And I look for yellow in teachers' auras. It tells me a lot about them. Yellow also can represent something, a new beginning, right? It's something that's sort of emerging because knowledge, when it comes together with blue, Blue is the throat chakra. Blue is about communication, hard work, ethic, being there, for family. You'll notice all like Mother Teresa had blue in her sari, in her robes. And so that blue is of deep service, of valor, it's deeply like there's a deep integrity with blue. And so when we mix blue communication with yellow, which is teaching and knowledge, we get green, right? That's color theory. And so the green is something new is emerging from knowledge and valor, something that's like a deep service, something new is emerging into the field of the person. So we can see colors coming together or separating. If someone's selling their business and deciding, they're no longer wanting to go into that venture, I'll notice the green is diminishing and it's coming apart into yellow and blue. So it's interesting, when you start to notice and understand primary colors and color theory, which I learned because I was so fascinated with all the colors in the auric field and going deeper and deeper into advanced theories into it. It was fascinating, but we're not going to go deep into advanced theories on this podcast, y'all. So we've covered red, why I love red so much. Orange is the next up chakra, which is the sacral, and it governs sort of the womb, your creativity, sexuality. It's how you sort of express yourself, right? And orange is such a beautiful, bright color too, isn't it? Like it's really this creative flow. Normally, when I see orange in someone's aura, I know that they're a healer and they have the ability to want to help others. They're very much a helper spirit, probably interested in either healing modality, medicine. I normally see it on like Reiki, people who are healers, massage therapists. I've even seen it in the aura of people who do like hair and makeup because it makes people feel good. And they're often kind of the therapists of the aesthetic world, right? Same thing with nail techs. I normally see red or pink in their aura if they're doing things with aesthetics and beauty, because pink is like a very mothering, nurturing energy, but it is also one of beauty and aesthetics, right? So a soft pink is very intuitive, empathic. It's very porous boundaries. They're very compassionate and they care a lot, but they cry very easily because they can feel other people's pain. And so when that pink starts to turn into fuchsia, I notice that there's that sort of boundary level that's coming in, that they're learning to say no thank you. Red is like no be. I'm not doing that, versus pink is a little bit more kind in their no, right? No thank you, I won't be doing that. Or maybe next time. Pink is a little bit more soft, whereas the red is fiery and passionate. Also, it's the color red is color of anger, right? So when someone is angry or they're really triggered by something or in deep trauma, you'll see a lot of red around them because the safety is being challenged, right? It's not there. And it's like almost like a dark, almost slimy red to me. Like it's not in its vibrant side, right? It'll express in its more darker, dingy side of it because they're not vibrant in that. They're actually quite upset. They're going through a darker emotion that's a heavier energy, right? Those energies are sort of lower in frequency. And so the energy of red is going to show that it's not vibrant, obviously. So even the colors can have nuance, right? When you think about what you're being drawn to, like I had a lot of maroon at one point. I was like, okay, I can add color and I'll add maroon. And now I don't wear any of the maroon, which is sad because I had some really nice maroon clothes, but I would rather pick something that's more vibrant red than a maroon because it's a more muted color. And why would I be drawn to a muted color? Because I was still somewhat hiding, right? So if you notice that you're drawn to, I mean, and to be fair, there is some fields where you must wear black, right? One of those fields is when you're doing makeup or you're doing hair, you're not wanting, or doing nails, right? You're just not wanting to get those colors and stuff and chemicals on your good clothes, right? You're not going to wear white. Also, there's some professions where you wear white, right? And black pants, right? Servers, different, again, time when you're in service, in service industries, they wear white and the top, black at the bottom. That's part of your uniform. But I'm talking about when you have choice, when you can just choose any color. You go to a store, do you go immediately to the black? or do you go immediately to the color? That's one thing I love about red, and yellow and purple are the other ones that I really love, and orange too. If it's a really bright orange, I love it. Or an orangey red, I really love that one. That's my favoriteest color. Favoriteest, my most favorite color is red mixed with orange. It's like that orangey red. So it's easy when you go shopping. I can just look and find which ones those are, right? And I don't want to be pigeonholed. If I want to wear another color, if I'm drawn to it, I'm going to wear it, right? At this moment in time, I'm not feeling that. So we talked about red being safety, security, groundedness, orange being creativity, sexuality. Yellow is the solar plexus. It's about personal power, knowledge, optimism. Then we got green, which is the heart, represents also nature. There's a lot of healing as well in green and in orange. And then we've got blue being the throat, which is about your ability to speak clearly, communication. It is also the center of control and manipulation. So if you constrict your throat, you can't speak. And, as a child, I was sick all the time. I had tonsillitis all the time. And the doctor's like, well, we might want to take it out. And I was like, no surgery. So I still have my tonsils to this day, but now I don't get tonsillitis ever, which is so wild, right? But I was sick every year on my birthday. And very interestingly, I get laryngitis once a year. Once a year, I get laryngitis. And I had kind of kicked it for a year. I thought, oh, this is good. I'm not going to get laryngitis. And then last year, I lost my voice for 12 days, but I was super burnt out. I was not taking the hint from Spirit. I was trying to bang out a whole bunch of work before I went to London. And Spirit took my voice. My body actually said, it's done. We're done, Sheetal. We've been trying to give you hints. Literally was whispering. You can actually go back and check the laryngitis chronicles if you want to hear my laryngitis voice, because I wanted to let you know that I wasn't going to be able to speak for the next 2 weeks, which is so funny when I look back and listen to it now. But you too can hear my laryngitis voice if you scroll back through my podcast and you find the laryngitis chronicles. So indigo represents the third eye, and it is about intuition, connection, seeing the 360 view right now, and being connected to your own spirit, also connecting to other spirits of this realm. So this is not about connecting to spirit that is past. This is called incarnate spirit. So spirits with a body. So it's about feeling, if you connect to, in this moment, if I thought about my husband, what kind of day he's having, he wants to come home. I can feel it. I can also feel, if I connect to my kids right now, how they're feeling. That comes more so through the third eye. And that indigo is a combination of blue from the throat and purple from the crown. It's a very hard color to find. It's like this weird combination of blue and purple. And I had a few things and it just was weird. It just felt strange to me. I don't know. It just doesn't fit in either one. It's a bit of an anomaly in my, like, to my eye. So even though I'm super psychic, I don't really love it. I just don't love it as a color, which is, again, kind of weird, but it doesn't mean anything about me. I'm just not drawn to it. So again, if you're not drawn to a color like peach, like I probably will never wear peach in my life. True story, I had to wear peach as a bridesmaid for a wedding where the bridesmaid actually got pregnant and couldn't wear the dress anymore. And so I was the only person that fit it. And I was a bridesmaid in a wedding when I was 16 because I fit the dress. Yeah, a very storied life, and it was a peach taffeta dress. It was very, very interesting. So yeah, it's not, I think I still have PTSD from wearing that. I'm not drawn to peach at all. So indigo through your third eye, it's about intuition, connection to the 3D, but sort of 360, being able to see a story play out sort of thing. That's intuition. So if I take this path, what's likely going to be the outcome? If I take this path, what's likely going to be the outcome? Of course, there's free will involved, so you don't really know the outcome. There's potentialities there, right? So oftentimes when I'm giving a reading, people are looking to me to give them what to do. And I always say, I'm not going to tell you what to do because that's karma. Like, then I'm connected to your life lessons. Then you come back and you're like, I left my husband. Look it, now he's coming for you. And I'm like, great. That's not, no, I'm not doing that. But what I'm going to give you is potentials, right? Okay. If you leave your husband, here's what's going to happen. If you stay with your husband, here's what's going to happen. And if you potentially decide to go to therapy and your husband decides to go to therapy as well, here's potentially what could happen there. But ultimately, everyone has free will in that. And it's up to you to decide, does this future align with what makes you happy or what doesn't? It's up to you. I can't tell you what's going to make you happy because I'm not you. And you might not choose what I would choose because I come from a different background. I have different tools in my toolkit. So really be careful if you're going to give people advice, especially you psychic ones out there. I know who you are. You be really careful with what you are giving as advice because you are inserting yourself in someone else's karma. And karma meaning a life lesson. That's all karma means, right? We love to use karma like a hammer. Karma's going to come for you. No, it just means a life lesson's coming for you. You treat people nice, that's good karma. You treat people with malice and disdain, there's healing that's needed there. And the universe is going to continue to reflect back to you that healing that's needed until you heal it. That's karma. That's it. It's not anything bad. You're living it every day, right? So be careful when you give advice because you're going to insert yourself in someone else's karma. So, my intuitive girlies out there, we can see things for other people. And sometimes I can see things that are inevitable. And sometimes I can see things that are potentials, right? And sometimes I can't see anything because the universe will show me a brick wall and says, I'm not allowed to say anything in this place because there's so much free will and things you're meant to learn that I can't illuminate in this moment in time. And I don't know why. It happens from time to time. It doesn't happen very often, but I tend to, it's one of those three things: the brick wall, I can see the potential, or I know the outcome. And when I know the outcome, I'll say to you, I'll give you certainty on this. I'll give you a money back guarantee because I can feel it. I can feel it so strongly that this is already in motion for you. So I'm digressing off the indigo a little bit, but just be careful. Sometimes you don't know, like for example, I had a lady come to me for a tarot reading and it showed in her tarot cards that she was going to be let go from her job. So I said, you're going to move on from your job. You're going to be let go, but not of your own design, or you're going to move on from your job. And she's like, what are you saying? I said, you're going to be let go. And she's like, no, I'm not. I've been there for 8 years. And I said, that's great. But over the last 2 years, you have been really struggling in your job. They've changed. I can tell, I know, like I can feel it. They've changed. Your boss has changed. She's like, yeah, how did you know? And I said, they've changed your pay structure. She's like, yeah, how did you know? And I said, they've changed your mileage. So you're making less. She's like, yeah, how'd you know? So because I'm psychic, right? I can see it. I can see the universe has been handing you red flag after red flag. This is not the path, but you keep hanging on because it's a paycheck. She's like, yeah, it's a really good paycheck. And I said, if you could do anything at all, what would you want to do? And she's like, I would love to be a personal trainer, but I can't make money on that. I said, have you heard of a woman named Jillian Harris? Like, she created The Biggest Loser. Have you heard of celebrity personal trainers? Do you think there's no celebrities in Edmonton, right? You couldn't become a personal trainer at a gym or create workout class. Like, as a business owner, and this is also part of my human design, is I will find you a path to money. I'll find you a path to creating an empire. Don't use that excuse. And she's like, well, it's true. I was like, okay, you believe it to be true, so it is. But the fact of the matter is there's plenty of people in the world that are personal trainers that are minting money. It's about finding the right business model for you. She's like, well, whatever. I'm not going to lose my job. I say, okay, let's say, because I said I'll never leave you worse off than I found you. Okay, so let's say I'm right. What if you updated your resume? You got 3 references together, talked to people, thought about who would you be a reference, just put it down on paper, 3 references. And then you go on LinkedIn, you update your resume, and you start friending headhunters in your industry. Just do the background. So at very least, you're creating a safety net for yourself. So if you are let go, because I said like 6 months, up to 6 months from now, you'll be let go. Sure enough, 6 months later, she was let go. She didn't do a thing I asked her to do. Nothing would have made her worse off. Everything would have made her better off, right? She would have had so much safety and security. As soon as they laid her off, she got a severance package. She would have had time to get employed. Because she was so bitter and so angry and she wasn't ready to hear me, she took 9 months to become employed again. 9 months. And maybe she needed that 9 months, right? The universe is always right timing you, but she didn't want to hear from me. I knew, I can feel it with so much certainty. The cards were very clear. I was getting that instinct. And, but I always say I might be wrong, but hey, let's just get you set up just in case, just in case. And if I'm wrong, great. Okay, great. And if I'm not, you're going to be so thankful that you put these things in motion for yourself. Not for me, not because I said it, because you decided to do it for yourself. So, whatever, right? But an interesting story nonetheless. And then violet or purple being the crown chakra, that's our connection to divine, as I mentioned. And that's our connection to spirit, to high self. I'm going to say the intuition is a connection to high self. This is connection to our guides, to our ancestors, to our loved ones in spirit. And so that tends to be very bright for children because they can see past the veil, as we say. They're kind of closest to the veil. They just came into incarnation as a little soul. So they often can see people who have passed away. And there's lots of videos. I get lots of you sending me videos on social media about babies playing with something in the air. And it's a very distinct playing and talking to something that's talking back, and it feels like grandma or grandpa or somebody in the family. So they're often connected to someone in the family. So that's the colors, y'all. And of course, black is the absence of color, no color, and white is the refraction of all color together in unison, in equal measure. So white is a very beautiful color. In Kundalini yoga, they ask you to wear white because it's, again, very much sacred. And I know there's something more about that too, but protecting energy and reflecting out anything that's negative away from us as well. And then beige is just a sad color. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but it is sad. Pink is a very mothering color, very nurturing and intuitive. It's very sensitive and empathic. Turquoise is one of like a healers. You often see it in like indigenous healers, and they wear the turquoise jewelry as well. It's very bright and uplifting, but it's come from a lot of strife before it. It has a lot of wisdom because it's lived through a lot of the hard stuff. And then gray is kind of this in between color. I normally see it as an overlay in parts of the body that things aren't working very well. I don't normally see gray in someone's aura. That's kind of weird. No, I've never seen gray in someone's aura. I can see it as an overlay on another color if they're struggling in that area. So, that's color psychology, to really, when you think about it, the spiritual color of purple or the blue color of communication and queens, it's a very divine feminine color of family and ethics and integrity. So I think red is also a very masculine color of protection, power, anger as well. Passion is like so red, right? So when you think about these colors, I want you to think about wearing something different this week. I'm going to challenge you to wearing a color that is out of your comfort zone and something that is desirable for you based on the things that I said today. So if you go back and you're like, oh, I want more knowledge, I want to wear yellow, or I want to feel more grounded and stable, or I want to bring in more money. Money can be red or green. Green attracts money too because it's heart. When you're in your heart and you're in alignment, you're attracting, like you're a magnet. It's one of the things I love, love, love in business is to help you remove blocks. So you're becoming a magnet for your clients and you're becoming a magnet for money. And that's available to everybody, not just people, women who are entrepreneurs. That's available to you in your profession or you just walking down the street. So think back to your little self and think, what color was your favorite when you were little? What did you love? Did you have a dress or a pantsuit or whatever that you loved to wear? What color was it? Think about that little soul back then, right? Who is just bopping around, being who they are before life told them all these things. And choose a different color today and see what happens with your day. Or see if you get any comments or anyone says anything to you. And take a picture and put it on social media and tag me in it. I would love, love, love to cheer you on. We need more color in this world. And if you love beige, I'm sending thoughts and prayers. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just sending love your way. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. And I'm wishing you a colorful day ahead. Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Story of Spirit podcast. I hope you have found inspiration, support, and practical insights to help you align with your soul-led purpose and live a life that sets your soul on fire. If you have enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to the podcast, leave a review, and share it with a friend. Your support helps us to reach more listeners and continues to provide valuable content. I sincerely appreciate every share, and I know it is how most people find me. It is because caring people like you have shared me with them at the right and perfect time. For more resources, insights, and to connect with our community, please visit us at www.sheetalstory.com and follow us on Instagram at sheetalstory. Remember, your journey to a more aligned and vibrant life is just the beginning, and I am here to support you every step of the way. Until next time, stay aligned, stay inspired, and keep shining your beautiful light. This is Sheetal Story, signing off from the Story of Spirit podcast. Here's the legalese that's required by our lawyers. This podcast and the YouTube channel represents the opinions of Sheetal Story and her guests to the show. The content should not be taken as medical, psychological, or financial advice. This series is informational and entertainment purposes only. Because each person is so unique, please consult your healthcare professional, your mental health dream team, your financial advisor, or anyone else that's an expert in the field in where you are thinking of making big choices in your life.